All right. Well, I want to say thank you guys for coming out today and viewing our school's continuous school improvement plan. And today we're going to look over the framework. I want to say thank you guys once again for coming out and watching my presentation and listening to me present to you all. I want to say thank you for that. All right. So for our school improvement plan and for the school improvement plan, I did a lot of digging and communicating with our administration. And when I reviewed the plan, and I looked over it and I looked over who was on it. First of all, I started with Dr. Goodwine, who's our area superintendent. And then we got to Ms. Shea, who was very helpful throughout this entire process of me reviewing and just throwing ideas at her. Then we have Ms. Willingham, who's our sixth grade administrator, Ms. Swinson. We have Mr. Dow. We have Ms. Luckett, who's our connections administrator. Mr. Dow's our eighth grade. Ms. Swinson's our seventh. And then we have Miss Edwards, who is our IB coordinator and parent engagement. And then we have Dr. Ashley, who's our SWD lead teacher. Okay. But all of these people, they helped me out. I went to them a lot to pick their brains about a couple of ideas and reviewing the plan and what they felt a lot about things, and then what I felt about some things. So before we get started in this, before we dig into the data, I want to just give them big kudos for that. All right, so our data. Some of you guys know this data, some of you guys do not know this data. So from as of right now, 59.5% of our students are developing or above in ELA. All right, which means 40.5% is at the beginner level in ELA in reading. Okay, and then 62.5% are developing learners or above in mathematics, and then 37.5% are at the beginner level. Okay, so this is just where we are right now. Okay, so let's talk about why we are there. Go back. Boom. All right, why? So from the plan, and what I came up with was personalized learning is low right now at King Middle School. Our social emotional needs from teachers and staff is also low, and lack of support. Teachers have expressed that they need more support, and I feel like teachers are every year always expressing that they need more support. But this year, especially coming off a COVID year, where some of our students have not been in the building in such a long time, social emotional learning is needed. But then also too, the reason for some of our data is just the lack of personalized learning. It takes a lot to personalize your lesson plans and to personalize your lessons and how the flow of your classroom and the climate is going to go. And as of right now, we just are not getting it done to where it needs to be for us to be successful. And it shows throughout our data, as we just saw. All right, so personalized learning, let's talk about it. So that basically just gets into student-based teaching. We need to do a better job of student-based teaching. And basically our differentiation needs to be a lot better. I've been into some of you all's classrooms. I know you guys have come into my classroom and we like to throw ideas at each other. But noticing students who need a little bit more help, or who are more advanced, and then noticing that some students are maybe a little behind. That's really what it comes down to. But then also making it student-based teaching, putting the students first and not just going based off our lesson plans. I know we work so hard on those things, especially with us being an IB learning school, but really putting the student first is really what it comes down to. A lesson plan, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And I feel like right now, sometimes we get punched in the mouth every day with whatever's going on in the school building. And we just really need to focus on teaching the students and doing the best we can and using our lesson plans to guide us. So then also too, touching on 2-on-1 personalized learning. So with that being said, as of right now, like most of us only have us in the classroom, especially with us being connections teachers. And I know all that, but having more than one person in the classroom, some students in core classes do, but in my class, I do not. So I get how that is, but that still does not make it as an excuse for why we cannot have a personalized learning experience. All right, so social emotional needs. As we all know, we are coming off a COVID year. Some of our students have not been in the building for 12 months. I have a student in my class currently, as we speak, um, who I taught in the fourth grade when I was a fourth grade PE teacher. Taught this young man in the fourth grade, and now I'm teaching him in sixth grade, and he has not been in a school building since. And he is exactly the same when I left him in March 2019. Like, he acts the same, his maturity level is the same. The only thing that changes, he's now in the sixth grade. He's still the same height, all that, but his social emotional learning needs are still the same. With that being said, teacher support is needed a lot. Like I spoke about earlier, sometimes teachers, we feel like we get the least support and everything we have to do, and we need more support. We need more support. This is an area that we need to critique and fix so that our students can benefit. But then also our levels of understanding as teachers and for these students, being that they have not been in school in such a long time, but then also to how our parents are feeling. Getting them more involved is always going to be a big help to us and the goals that we have set for the school year. All right, so let's talk about this lack of support that everybody always talks about. One, PL days are a must, but then also two, check-ins. I'm just thinking about how many times I got checked in on, and sometimes I needed more. When I sat down with Ms. Shea and some of the other administrators, and we really thought about how we did. I know COVID made it very hard to check in, and all you could do is really have a phone call, but we all were so busy, those check-ins really dropped. So some of these things is very, 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 it pinpoints straight to our data. And when you think about it, okay, if I'm not getting the support I need, the PLs are not happening because of COVID, and we're just throwing all these things at us, and things have gotten harder because of the COVID years, us being at home. We need to get back to the basics. We need to have more PL days, where we get the support that we need as teachers to basically be there for our students. But then also too, more check-ins need to happen with us having a large group of administration, and this being big. Check-ins are big. You never know what checking into a classroom may be. And that is something that I brought up too. And Ms. Shea was very, very, very big about check-ins. And as we all know, she walks the building in her trainers and her books running shoes. But she's going to do more of that these days. So, but also just creating more of a team building environment. Like I said, during a COVID year, when everybody's behind the screen, like we are as currently right now, it's very hard to check in and see how people are doing and just have little conversation. Those things sometimes lead for a negative work environment when all you do is just simply work. All right, so let's get to our goal statement. So goal statement number one, the percentage of, and this is what I came up with Ms. Shea and Ms. Luckett, by the help of Ms. Luckett, but this is what we came up with. The percentage of students in grades 6th through 8th scoring, developing, or above in reading will increase from 59.5% to 62.5% in by June 2022. Okay, goal number two is very similar to goal number one, but it's talking about our math scores. The percentage of students in